Okay, today I'm going to be showing you my Cmail app. It's a CLI app that sends emails. It's quite basic in the sense that that is all it does. It doesn't read your inbox. It's literally just for sending emails with some basic attachments. But it's one of my favorite things I've ever built. I consider myself an email developer. That's how I learn any new language. C isn't a new language to me, but when I get started in a language, the first thing I try and do is send an email with it. It's just something I find quite fun. So this project is about 321 lines of C, and here it is in all its glory. I'm going to make it and then install it. Now I have this very simple send message script which uses the app that's made, Mailer. So it can send to multiple people. It actually strips these like addresses, so I can put spaces in them and it would still work. And you can comma separate different addresses, so you can put multiple CC addresses, multiple to addresses. N is the name that appears. If it's not specified, it will just default to the email address. You can add attachments of -A. You can also do the attachment name. Now, there's short forms and long forms of the email address. I'll go into that of these like switches, but I'll go into that in a minute. And yeah, so it just defines a subject and a body, and it can send multi-line. So if I just do mailer, I can do -H or -help. It comes up with all the different things. So -F is useful where if you're trying to send an attachment, it looks for the attachment, it can't read it, it doesn't exist, something like that. It will just send the body, it will just send you about the attachment. So I'm going to use this to send myself an email. So send message script. I need to source my profile. So yeah, I couldn't find that's a bit ugly, I should fix that. And there we go. It just specified one, but it did send it to all of them. So if I open up my email, it's using NeoMut. This can also do something very similar. We can see that it was sent to two people, and it's CC'd in app@showme.com, and it sent these things through, and it also sent the CSV. If I guess I can show you here. Actually, I'll show you my cool password thing. There we go. So same thing as this terminal app. This is just using Raindrop with my email server, but you can see it sends it all nice. And if we look at we could download the CSV, look at the data. It's just this here. Do I have skim? I do. There you go. Can have a look at the nice CSV. So yeah, it's very minimalistic. I will go through how the code works in a minute, and everything's defined through environment variables. So in the environment variables, you're going to, and this shows how it's actually used in the program. You define an email user, which is just your actual email. The user name, that's what's going to appear next to it. I use Shirley's app a lot. The password, of course, it'll have to be an app password if you're using this for Gmail or Outlook or something, and then the actual server where it's going to send the request to, and then this has a few different examples in it. So we'll have a look at this function here. Basically all of this is argument passing. It just loops through all the arguments and checks if the false flag is enabled. So that means you can put them in any order. It doesn't matter what order you put it in. And then there's some defaults here, like the attachment path and stuff. It also trims the addresses in case, let's say, spaces and things like that. It means you don't have to be so careful. Then it makes this email structure and actually sends email. So if I jump to where that's defined, this is the main function. Top bit here is just checking the environment variables exist. As you saw at the beginning there, it didn't, and it just tells you I can't find this thing. We define all these variables that are going to get filled. And this is what an email actually looks like. So email is just text. There's a few different versions. So this is a basic one here without an attachment. So it says to, from, CC, subject, things like that. And then at the top here, this is a more complicated MIME version. And as you can see, the reason only text is supported at the moment is because I put content type text/plain. In the future, I might add support for PDFs and things like that. I don't really need it at the moment. This is actually used by my work to send emails out to report reports to people. So yeah, it makes this email, it stores into a payload, and then uses curl to send the email. Curl makes it very easy. You just set your different things. Important note, this kind of got me stuck for a while when I was trying to send things with SSL. So you need to set the authenticator and the from address. It won't assume that these are the same thing. So you actually need to set the authenticator if you're going to be using SSL, star TLS, whatever, you should. Then it passes the to address and the CC address. It just loops through until it's sent it to all of them. Then it actually performs it, so that's it actually trying to send the email. If there are any errors, it will print out an error. If not, it will just say it was sent. And then it just cleans up. Curl easy cleanup, it really is. So like I said, this is very simple, but I am very proud of it. I like this a lot, and it is used by my work. It's very simple to my newsletter. So if I go to my C newsletter, this one's a bit like chunkier, if I can. Not as many as I thought. I thought it was more than that, but this one's a bit more complicated. You can probably tell it was born out of the same code. I wrote this one first actually, but this uses email subscribers instead of just sending a raw email. It uses email subscribers to make that, and this does a bunch of fancy stuff. So it starts off by connecting to a SQL database, and it will. Yeah, it uses malloc to get that. So I'll show that again. So when we are here, it calls this get email subs function, which does all of this. And where do we malloc? Right here. So this is defining a bit of space. Not very much. Whoops. Let's go back there. So it only gives it enough memory for 2 subscribers, and then just keeps growing when it gets too big. So it'll allocate enough for 2. When it gets more than that, it will allocate 4, then 8, then 16. But really I should just make this a bigger number because I have about like 30-40 subscribers at the moment. It connects to a database I set up that has my mailing list, and then makes them into these subscribers. So the email subscriber is like a structure that has email, first name, last name. Additional text is what I want to append to the end of an email, and then the template. And then later on we'll get to the actual emailing, which is very similar. You basically just seen this before. The only interesting difference is these files here where it'll grab a random fact, a random compliment, a random goal fact. I might add more in the future. I'm hoping to add an art one at some point. Or maybe like it sends you a music thing every day. But this will choose like a random fact to send to people. And we can see that. So all of that work is done in this function right here, send email to subs. So this chooses the facts, and then essentially it's like using the other email app I just showed you. So it uses that code within this. So after it's allocated all those things, then it will make the body the subject. And then it calls this send mail function, which is virtually identical to the one I showed you before. So yeah, those are my C emailing apps. This one's cool because it connects to a database, but that was a bit more about learning and also setting my newsletter. This email one I'm actually quite proud of, and I do use it a fair amount. I mean, I know you can kind of replicate it with Neomut, which, you know, is kind of the gold standard for lightweight emailing, but yeah, I just like it.